Hey, this is Burton or BP Stories. Today's story is about my first girlfriend, and let's get straight into this. So this story all starts about 5 months ago. So I was going to a new school because I was homeschooled before because my parents caught me vaping, and I got homeschooled for like a couple months. So I'm going to a new middle school. New people, new faces. Didn't know what to expect. So, I go in and it's pretty regular day. And then once it goes to PE, I see this girl. Let's call her Zoe. So, I see Zoe and I think she looks really good. And she's really nice to me, and she was pretty much one of my first friends that I had going to this school. So, we hung out for the next month, and I ended up saying, I like her, and she said, yeah, I like you too, and we ended up, I don't know, I didn't really want to do a talking stage because we were already friends before, but we ended up doing like a 2-week talking stage, and then pretty much I asked her if she wants to be my girlfriend. She said yes, but that is not the end. Nowhere close to the end. About 2 months into us dating, she joined the basketball team at school. So, she did the basketball tryouts. She got in, I was proud of her. So she was going to start doing basketball. And she'd have to wake up at like 6 a.m. every morning to go to basketball practice. And, it's not too hard, in my opinion, to wake up at 6 a.m, but, she hated waking up early. So, she was in a bad mood for the next month, getting used to this schedule. And during this month, we would hang out in our science teacher's room for lunch because, that room was just really chill. She was a really cool teacher, and she'd let people just, chill in there for lunch. It was way better than sitting in the crowded cafeteria. But besides that, we hang out there every day at lunch, and this one kid, Oliver, he started hanging out with us. And, he was pretty cool. He's a pretty cool kid. I had a couple classes with him. And, him and Zoe, they were also pretty good friends. And one day, I could tell Zoe was kind of mad at me. I didn't know why. I hadn't done anything that I hadn't known of. But, she was a little upset with me. And that day, she didn't really want to hang out with me, and she only wanted to hang out with Oliver. So I'm, kind of weirded out with this, she's trying to hang out with Oliver more than she wants to hang out with her own boyfriend. And so pretty much I asked her friend, I'm just like, hey, is anything going on with Zoe? And she's like, I don't know. It's just, I think she's upset with you for something. I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't do anything. But, I was just assuming she was grumpy for waking up super early in the morning. But it's a Friday, and I go to the movie theaters with my friend. We have fun there. And then, I come home. But right when I get home, I notice that I get a text. So I look down, and there's this, entire 5-paragraph thing that's like, hey, I think it's best if we break up. I think we've lost our spark, and, I don't want to lead you on. Some, bullshit like that. And I'm like, I don't feel that way at all. But, if that's what makes you happy, that's fine. And she's saying how she, can't handle a relationship right now. She's too stressed out with basketball and everything like that. And, I completely understand. She's like, maybe we can come back to this in the future. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. And so I text her, though, after we have this conversation, and I say, do you like Oliver? And she said, no, I'm just going to focus on myself right now. I'm like, okay. The next day, I get a call from my friend, and I'm like, yo, what's up? She's like, I think Zoe's cheating on you. I'm like, what do you mean? We broke up. And he's like, oh, I didn't hear, sorry about that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why would you think she's cheating on me? And he's like, oh, you'll see. And he sends me this video of her kissing Oliver. I don't know how this video got taken. I'm sure, someone was just spying on them and took the video, I guess. But, it was just an overall very confusing experience for me because she said she couldn't handle the relationship. She breaks up with me the next day, gets with Oliver, and they're still together today. And it just sucks. I didn't think Zoe would do that because I felt like we had a pretty good relationship, but I guess she thought differently. And me and Oliver, we're chill. I don't really have anything against him, really. I don't think he stole her from me or anything like that. And me and Zoe, we decided to be friends. Sometimes it's a little awkward between us, but, we try to be friends. And so fast forward about a month later, Zoe becomes friends with this one kid named Rex. And, her and Rex, they become pretty close friends. They hang out in, downtown after school. They become pretty good friends. And one night, Oliver calls me, and he says, Zoe did me dirty. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, she broke up with me, and an hour later, I hear she's with Rex. And, as much as it hurts me to say, I was thrilled to hear this. I was fucking thrilled. The fact that he got not instant, but karma, that felt good. I do feel bad for Oliver, but at least I knew that she didn't break up with me because of me. She broke up with me because she was a bitch and a cheater. So, yeah, that's today's story. Definitely one of the shorter ones, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any of your stories down in the comments. I'd love to hear those. And have a good rest of your day. Peace.
Don't give a fuck, bitch. People be able to like a class. Fuck a bitch, cause I wanna go outside in the dark. And don't have to